Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Destiny, and I come to you today with a highlighting and contour video. I get a lot of questions about this, and I've done a few in the past, but I wanted to do an updated one, and I also wanted to give you guys a little bit more information on contouring and things. Some of the more popular questions I get about contouring is, what do you use? Where can you get special contouring powders and different things? A lot of brands actually do sell special powders made for contouring, but when it comes to contouring for me, I know I just like a matte powder that is the same undertone, and I have a video on undertone. I'll have that in the bottom bar. I like a powder with the same undertone and to be a little bit darker than my skin. Here is one of my favorite powders to use, and this is actually a MAC eyeshadow in Brown Down. So it's darker than my skin, it's matte, and it's a nice brown. So if you're my skin tone or a little bit darker, that may be something good to use. Another question I get is from women who are darker than me. If you're darker than me and your contour powder is not showing up, you can take your contour powder and mix it with a really deep matte blue or a really deep matte purple to kind of help that come out a little bit. Or if you're so dark skinned that the powder's not showing up, sometimes you may only need to highlight. Another product I like to use for contouring is facial powders. If this facial powder was a little bit darker, I could use it as a contour. However, this one's my exact color, but this is just a sample of something you could use. This is the Makeup Forever Highlighting and Contour Kit. I like this one. I think this is in number 4 if I'm not mistaken. And this is a really good product if you can't find anything that you like, because this has the contour and the highlight powder. Even though I really don't like the highlight powder, or I've never really used it too much, this is a really good kit. Another thing I like about highlighting and contouring is highlighting. You can use almost anything that's a little bit lighter than your skin, or shimmery if it's the same tone as your skin. Flawless Radiance from ID Bare Minerals is another great one. This one almost goes on iridescent, but really ups that reflective quality in your skin. So whatever you do highlight with this, it's gonna look really great. I'm gonna go ahead and move on, basically saying you can use so many products, and I'll have some more examples in the bottom bar. I want to go ahead and start out. The first step to contouring is, in my case, I like to go ahead and clean up my canvas, which is my face. So I'm gonna go in and add one light layer or two of foundation. You can highlight and contour without foundation, but to give your face that really clean, smooth look, I'm going to start off with foundation. The foundation I'm using is Makeup Forever HD in color 178. I'll be using a clean Sonia Kashuk brush for this. Okay, so now that I got my foundation applied, I'm going to go ahead and set my foundation. Setting your foundation helps your foundation to stay in place longer. It helps it to look less oily, and it also helps so it doesn't transfer onto your shirt. I like to use the e.l.f. HD powder or the Makeup Forever HD powder. Since I'm using Makeup Forever foundation, I'm going to go ahead with my Makeup Forever HD powder and set my foundation. Now, I'm going to be highlighting and contouring today with all powder products. If you are going to contour or highlight with a cream product, I would say set your foundation last. If you guys want to see a tutorial of me contouring with cream products, then go ahead and let me know in the comments below. This is a perfect example of a creamy highlighting product, and this is the Chanel Sheer Brilliance, and this is in Sunkissed, and I absolutely love this. NARS also makes a really nice illuminating cream. Lots of products. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into setting my foundation. Okay, so now that my foundation is applied and set, I'm going to go in with the first step. And I don't always do this, but I really like the effect that this gives. This is my bronzer from Guerlaine, and this is an Ebony. And it's just a teeny tiny bit darker than my skin. And what I like to do is go in and get some on the tips of the bristles of my brush. And I'll go in and I will contour out the sides of my face and underneath my jaw, just a very little bit with this, because this has a little bit of shimmer. The reason I do this is because it helps my contour to look more natural, not like I just have bam contouring like You know, I want to look very natural. I want people to look at my face and you know what I mean? I apply makeup for the love of my face and not for the love of makeup. Sometimes I get that confused. I get something new and exciting and I want to pile it on my face rather than thinking about how I can strategically use this to really let my skin and my face get all the credit. So bronzer is one of those great products. So I'm going to go in, and this is a Look New York brush. I actually got this from Dwayne Reed. And I'm just going to lightly go along the sides of my cheeks. Sweep it down a little bit, and also sweep some along the sides of my temples. Now you're not going to be able to see this a whole bunch. This is just to give that first very subtle treatment. Finding the hollows of your cheeks over time will become like second nature. I usually smile, and you can see, you can feel, or you can do the fish face. After a while, you'll just know. Now I like to go in for the gusto. I'm going to go in with my handy dandy Sonia Kashuk brush again. And I really like the size of this. This is also comparable to a MAC 109, a Sigma F105, or even this brush from Sonia Kashuk. But I'm going to use this, and I'm going to go in with my MAC Brown Down, which is the deepest shade of my contour powders. And I'm just going to rub it back and forth in the powder. I'm going to start near my ears and blend it. Now I'm going to blend it up rather than down to keep my face from looking too manly or too overly contoured. You can bring some back here as well and along the bottom of your jaw. Contouring is one of those things that takes time and practice, and you're going to have to figure out how you like your face contoured. There are many ways to contour your face, for many face shapes, for many skin tones, for many bone structures. This technique works really great for me. This is kind of the 3 technique. You kind of go like this, you know? I think another trick to contouring is making sure you're building slowly and not just applying a whole lot of product at once. It never works out well, especially if you're new to contouring. You're going to feel like you look overly contoured, you look mannish, your face looks too made up. This is something that you want to build on slowly. And you want to make sure you're using the best products for your skin. And always try to stick to matte products when it comes to contouring. Now for highlighting, I'm going to go in with the ID Bare Minerals in Flawless Radiance. And if you can see that on the brush, it's just a very pale gold, very finely milled powder. And usually I will go in with some color corrector or some highlighting concealer. But I want this to be very natural and very everyday and something you can just get your game on with and go. So I'm going to take this very nice light gold powder. I'm going to turn my face to the side. This is my favorite angle. This is where I can really see my cheekbones and all the features of my face in the best light. So I'll turn my face to the side and I'll kind of just amp up everything that is going to make my face look more highlighted. Everywhere the light touches. Even do it lightly right here, right underneath your highlighting, because then that picks up on the contouring. I meant to say right underneath the contouring, you know, and it gives you a very light effect. And I like to sweep it all over my eyelid because it's very finely milled and it's not going to look like you have a whole bunch of shimmer on your face. So now I'm going to go in and blend these out. I run a little bit through the ridge of my brows and a little bit in my forehead. And this is all stuff that you should do before blush, because these are all things that you want to make look like it's commonplace for your face. It's natural. This is what I look like. And then blush is just icing on the cake. But you want to make sure to get your cake perfect first. Can't tell you how many people I see running around with perfect blush and perfect smoky eyes, and their foundation and contouring and everything is an absolute mess. Okay, now my face honestly is pretty much done. From here I would be like, okay, now it's time for everything else. Another thing I want to show you though, One of my favorite parts is definitely contouring the nose, because this can take 5 pounds off your face instantly. When you begin to really look at people's faces and you really begin to care,